Hi everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again. Today I'm going to talk about those secret rare comics. Are they worth it? And what do I think about them short term, long term? Let's get to it. Okay, so a lot of people have asked me questions about the secret rare comics, and they're expensive. Obviously, they're not expensive if you get them on the drop for $7. That's the best case scenario of all time, and I'm sure some people have got lucky doing that. But let's even if you did that, let's talk about, would you want to invest in one of these at the current price, and would you hold it long term? I will add this right in the beginning. You want to look at it in two ways. What is the value now and what is the value, midterm and then obviously long term. And long term is weird because this is such a new environment. Is long term 12 months? Long term might be 12 months. For example, if you had one of them and they were worth 1,700 gems, and the reason why I say 1,700 is because that's what a Todd is at. So would you trade it for a Todd? In most of these cases, I think you would. So that's what I mean by you're looking, because you want to maximize your gems. And so if this one is worth 1,700, you could trade it for a Todd, and that makes more sense. Although the Todds, as long as I've been, examining for maybe 6 weeks now, the prices, they have been at 1,700, 1,800, dropped down to maybe 1,500, but they are very, very stable, which is both good and bad, depending on what you want, right? Okay, let's get right into it. I have taken the comics, and we're only talking about the secret rares today, and broken them into 3 tiers. Tier 3, Tier 2, and Tier 1. I'll go through Tier 3 and the 2 tier and Tier 1. And the Tier 1s are probably pretty obvious. And I'll just throw those out there because let's get those done with. People know that. Okay, so Tier 1s in my mind are Marvel Comics #1, not to be confused with The Marvels. So, and it was the first NFT comic. We know it's going to be worth a bunch. Right now it's at $31K. I have no ability to know whether or not that's a good price. You should, buy in or not. I certainly would not buy in at 31K gems, but that's me. Now, if you think about some of the numbers in terms of that comic physically, is a really expensive comic. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you had one in a high grade, it would be, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's a very old comic, an iconic comic. So with only 600 available, once you get some really big time comic book collectors into the app and they believe in it, that's the key, right? Do they believe in it? Could it be worth more than $31,000? Yeah. Oh yeah. Because we have so many examples of a lot of comics that are already, physical comics that are already worth more than $31,000. So $31,000 might be actually a good value. Because you only need to convince 600 people that, this is going to have way, way more value in the future, and they probably exist. So the other one, which I think is in this really big upper tier, is ASM #1. Now, if you don't know, ASM #1 is not the first appearance of Peter Parker Spider-Man in the physical world. Amazing Fantasy 15 is. But this is his first solo. It's the second appearance. It's an expensive book in the real world. It's the first NFT. It's right now at 8,300. That seems, once again, I am not going to buy it, but that seems like it has some room to grow. It has been going down, actually, so maybe if you hold on, you can get it for less. But that one is a long-term hold. I think it will have some good value. The other two is Fantastic Four #1. Fantastic Four #1 is an iconic book in the physical world, super expensive. Fantastic Four team is iconic. I do believe they'll have a movie coming, but it won't be for years, 2-3 years out. And it's at 7,700. I wouldn't buy for that much, but it might be a good price at 7,700 for all the same reasons I've been discussing. The last one in the highest tier in my mind is Ultimate Fallout 4. Miles Morales is a huge and iconic character, only growing in popularity, especially with the younger generation. I bought that one. I have the, don't get excited, this is the facsimile. So this is like a reprint of it. The real one, as I've discussed, if you have a 9.8 of the real one, I think it might be $30,000 US. But any grade of this is a really expensive comic, thousands of dollars. And this facsimile I got off of eBay for $50. So like I said, it's a reprint, but still awesome. And I did buy that Secret Rare. I bought it for 1,700 gems, and it has increased to 3,200. There's something about Miles, which is everybody loves. He's obviously in the Sony PlayStation video game, and I think that's a good one. Now, is that one going to exceed Amazing Spider-Man #1? No. I think some of the other ones are going to, but I do think it's one that will hold value, and a lot of people know the character. Into the Spider-Verse 2 is coming out soon. Okay, the one that is on the very bottom of tier 1, some people may disagree with that, of course, is Daredevil #1. He is a huge character in the real world. That comic is expensive, but not as much as some of the other ones like Fantastic Four or Amazing Spider-Man #1, etc. So, yeah, it's at 2,900 gems right now. It has been moving up. And that one, long term, is probably a good one to grab. I don't know if I'd grab it at 2,900 once again, but maybe it could be. In the real world, that is an expensive comic, especially in a high grade. And you have some people that are huge Daredevil fans. Huge. Can you find 600 of them that are diehards that want that comic? You probably could. And in the world of comics, I try to, we always talk about market cap and some of these other things, but there are collectors that have, all these first appearances in high grade. So, they have collections of $1 million. Could they sell some of their other collection to kind of get into the NFT world? They could sell like one comic and buy all these comics, all these secret rares. So, yeah, and maybe they'd be willing to. Maybe they're like, oh, I don't like this lower end this one character. I'll just sell this one comic for $50,000, and boom, they can buy all these. So this is possible in terms of, but you've got to find multiple of these people, right, to get the prices to increase. But those are the ones I think long term. Okay, let's move to tier 2. Tier 2. Okay, so these are comics that have a first appearance of a character, but it might be, a B character, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just they're not as popular, say, as Spider-Man. Okay, so one would be, and okay, I'm going to back up. I apologize. Avengers 8. Okay, let's talk Avengers 8. So this is where we get into a world that is unknown to me. It's the NFT world in the sense that the scarcity of Avengers 8, which has 250 minted, which is very low. Most of the others, as we know, have 600. A couple of them have 500, but so, less than half. And Avengers 8 is at $17,000. Now, it was the first of these NFT comics that had a really, really small minted number. It is the first appearance of Kang, although I'm not going to get into that mess of that. And I only say that because Kang has a lot of different forms, etc., etc. Okay. So, physically, that book is expensive, but not near an ASM 1, not near, a Fantastic Four #1 in the physical world. But this proves that the scarcity really drives up, can drive up these values, And so what are these kind of pivotal points in which the scarcity really pushes up the value? One second, I'm going to drink some coffee. It seems to be around this 500 minted number. And once again, we're looking at how many people are on the platform. I've heard numbers of 750,000 people. Let's just say it's around there. So when you double that, is now the magic number 1,000? I don't know. The other thing to note is the price. I mean, once you start, in my mind, once you start getting above $500, 500 gems, it's a pricey NFT, and you just have to look at across the world how many people have disposable income where they can put $500 into an NFT. Even if they believe in it, even if they think it's the future, even if they, love the character. You're getting into a, rare air. Once you're talking about over 1,000 gems, 2,000 gems, there's just not that many people that have that kind of disposable income to throw at it. But on the other hand, when you're talking about only 250 or 500 or 1,000, there are a lot of people like that. Especially if you're looking, across the entire world. So I don't know. It's interesting, but I would say Avengers 8 from my comic book physical world, I would say no. That one would not be one I would hold super long term as one that could be worth lots and lots and lots of money. But because of the scarcity in NFT world, I need to put that one in tier 1 because NFT world is different. Okay, sorry. Now I'll move to tier 2. Okay, so in this one, and I'm going to go a little bit faster here, we have Tales of Suspense 52, Journey into Mystery 85, X-Men number 4, ASM 361, ASM 50. I have it here, so I'll show it to you. This would be the first appearance of Kingpin. An expensive book, but not nearly as expensive as others in the physical world. Thanos 13, first appearance of Cosmic Ghost Rider, and New Mutants 98. Okay, now, all these first appearances from the physical sense, I have that spreadsheet if you recall. They are all in that spreadsheet. I will link it below again. So it has the first appearances in the physical world and the first appearances in the NFT world. Take it for what you want. Use that spreadsheet. I will continue to update it. Okay, that's linked below like I mentioned. All of these, in my mind, are... if you have them and you love the character, I would hold them, but I would look to trade them for potentially other NFTs that have potentially more explosive, could go up higher. Todd is the one you look at, in my mind, especially because of the significance of who he is. You can look at others that could maybe complete a set. Superman is one to look at. That's just my take on it. We don't know, and I'm going to talk about this later, we don't know when you're talking about the Master Collector program, because that would be a reason why you would want to hold it. We don't know how much a Secret Rare is going to count. We do know that comic Secret Rares will count. He did say that. So let's find out. But for example, ASM 361, first appearance of Carnage, is at 1,800 right now. It has been moving down. Would you trade that for a Todd? I would. And it's just because as big characters as they are, Loki, Deadpool, they're big characters, but, they're not Spider-Man. And I don't know what their long-term... once again, you find people that are super, huge Deadpool fans especially, right? I just don't know long-term, can they beat a Todd, for example? All right. Now I'll move to the third tier, which would be The Marvels, Fantastic Four 13, All New Captain America, Immortal Hulk, Hulk, Future Imperfect, Web of Spider-Man 118, House of X. I showed the wrong one last time, so House of X, there it is. It's fun to have the physical ones. A lot of these ones, like this one, you can buy online off of eBay. Just go on eBay. You can find some of these if you're interested. Some of them are expensive, but some of them aren't if you want to. It is fun to display the NFT or take pictures with the NFT and the physical one. I've done some of that if you check my Instagram. House of X number 1, FF13. Now, let's talk about these. So a lot of these are coming down in price if you track them. And the lowest one would be the 118 Ben Reilly one is at 998. Actually, the all-new Captain America is at 990 about also, so under 1,000. A lot of them around 1,100. Now, I think that they're going to fall. And this is why. They're going to fall. There's these thresholds that are created, and we're seeing that, and they're really based around the Master Collector program. The one threshold in my mind is around $500, and another threshold is around $900. Why? $500, that threshold is created because that's what the cheapest sets cost. You know, when you get the posters, the 007 posters, there's 2 of them. If you buy them both, they're around 400, 500. I guess 400 actually, I think you can get them for. I know that Captain Carter, who is a set herself, is around 400 right now. So that creates the lowest threshold to get into a set. Now, the lowest threshold for secret rares that I can find is the Labbit's Hooverville. You can get that secret rare for around 800, 900 gems. So that creates that threshold. So I think these are going to fall to that threshold, 800, 900. Now, as that particular or any of the secret rares move up, they will meet that threshold. That's my thought process. So in other words, if the low in the collectible world, if the lowest secret rare is the cheapest secret rare is 1,000, these will all be 1,000. So that being said, all of these in my mind are overvalued, and they don't have the supporting first appearance in comics to make them go back up. So in other words, all new Captain America, we love Sam Wilson, but that's not his first appearance in physical comics. So what is going to be the action that increases that one again now that it's really been falling? So that's my take on that. I think that if any of these comics, secret rare comics, fall under these thresholds as they move up, and they're going to continue to move up, of the different secret rares in the collectible world, then it would be a buy. But I think that's really how they're going to be viewed, is they're just a secret rare. How many points can I get for the Master Collector program? Okay, I think that's what I have for you today. Any other questions that you might have, definitely put them in the comments, DM me on Instagram. I appreciate you all for watching, and I'll talk to y'all soon.